So now that we're back from pit, I thought it'd be fun to just play a fun deck since the ladder resets in a couple days, and we're kind of awaiting megas to really do a lot of other decks like getting updated with a lot better cards. So a deck right now that I think is fun and kind of going a little under the radar is actually the Future Box engine, and that's mostly because you have Miraidon, which what you can do is go for peak acceleration. If you're going second, you can almost knock out anything in the active in most cases if it's a like regular basic Pokemon, where you have her 40 and then you search your deck for 2 basic energies and attach them to your future Pokemon in any way you like. So if we're up against Guardy, we're going to be going Iron Thorns and kind of setting this up and setting up our kind of attacks that way, as well as the ability to go for an Ampy very much with the Iron Hands EX, which is also very powerful. We'll have access to Clefairy as well. This isn't a future Pokemon, but it's really good just to hit Dragapult and other Dragon-type Pokemon for weakness. And then we have Iron Valiant, which we'll be able to use for the dark matchups like Zoroark, which is becoming more common, Charizard, which is becoming a little bit more common, as well as Grimmsnarl, which is actually less common, but it's still a good thing to look out for. The main reason we're running Iron Crown, I don't know why I stuttered on that, but whatever. The Iron Crown ZX is mostly for the Cobalt Command, where we do 20 more damage for each one that's out. So we can just throw like 2 of those out and have our Miraidon hitting for 80 damage, which is really nice. It allows our Ampy very much to get up to much better numbers to kind of KO the things that we really need, as well as just puts our Iron Thorns kind of over the edge for certain knockouts or 2 shots. So it's really, really nice. One of the main things is that we are looking to abuse hands here, and so once we have it powered up, we can go for a Heavy Baton and make sure we're preserving those energies, powering up new ones. We do have Bravery Charm for the matchups where that'll matter, as well as being able to put that on our Clefairy and kind of keep it safe from a Dragapult attack. And then the reason we play for Future Booster Capsule is mostly because of the fact that we want to be able to retreat out our Pokemon very easily and not need like switch cards and things like that, but also to just boost up that damage a little bit more. As for that, really the core strategy of this deck is that we want to be picking our matchups, so we're going 3 copies of Boss's Orders. Our ace pick of choice is Prime Catcher, and then we're playing 1 Pokemon Catcher just for fun. If we hit the coin flips, great. We won't really need it that much, as well as 1 Counter Catcher. You could definitely cut this for like another boss or Counter Catcher or something. I just think it's really fun. But yeah, that's pretty much the list. It's pretty straightforward. We just want to be going spam aggro and hitting things for weakness and taking prize cards quickly before our opponent can really respond to them. But yeah, we'll get into the game in a second. I'll see you guys there. But before we do, I just want to give a special shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys so much for that additional level of support. Really does go a long way. It means a lot. So thank you guys so much for that. Lastly, since we are back from pit, sometime this week I'll probably be doing a kind of overall recap from pit, but I just want to give a special shout out to everybody I went there with. Totodile Gang, Bluestone, Ginge TCG, Chef Husky, I Am Guardian. Everybody was incredibly cool to hang out with. It was a great time, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again. For everybody who was at pit that I got to meet, you know, that was super cool. So shout out to you guys. And yeah, really fun time at pit, and recap video will be coming out probably sometime this week. But yeah, that's just about it, and I'll see you guys in game 1. Peace. Alright, we're in game number 1, and our opponent's going to be going first, which is optimal for us. We get the Iron Hands start. We do have an Iron Bundle, but we're fine not really revealing that right now. It kind of is fine to look like we're a little stuck on just like an Iron Hands here. Since we have the Arven in our opening, what we're going to be able to do is go, depending on what we draw as well, but no matter what, we're going to be able to go Miraidon here, and actually we might just get the Dunk off. Perfect. So we can go for that, grab ourselves a Radar and a Future Booster. We'll be able to go Techno Radar, discard a card, find ourselves 2, so we'll grab this and this. Place that down. Place this down, attach the capsule, go ahead and retreat this out, bring this in, slap an electric energy down, slap the booster, check our damage really quick. We do hit for 80. So we just donk right away and make it easy. So pretty sweet. Easy game 1. Obviously, that's not reflective of every single game, but also Guardian is brick, and this deck, that's like what we're consistent about, is just being able to swing for that early damage and start powering up. So it actually works out really, really well. So pretty sweet early game one, and we'll jump into game two in a second. I'll see you guys there. Peace. All right, we're into game number two. Our opponent's going to be going first. We open Iron Thorns, and honestly nothing else. This is actually a really bad hand. So if we could either get something off this mulligan or a research, we're into what appears to be End Zoroark, which is not that bad because we can set up like Iron Valiant and stuff like that, but we really want to be... kind of want to be more set up right now. So if we top deck like a research or something, that's actually fine. Okay, Bravery Charm, not really what we're looking for. Though, the Petron getting stuck in the active because of Iron Thorns is pretty funny. Because they're going to have to go energy to retreat it. We get a future booster. Actually, all of these are really worthless for us, honestly, so we're just going to throw this down. And I guess pass. There's really not much else we can do. They make Zoroark. They can't use it. So, I mean, we're fine just sitting here with Thorns, but we're definitely not happy about it. There's a Toad. TM Evo. For a Toad, we're not really going to use anyway. We can go Earthen Vessel just to get ourselves some electric energy. Okay, this is actually more usable. I can get rid of this. Grab this and this. Actually... yeah, I think I'm fine just manually attaching and just playing around the Thorns this game. Then what we'll do is we can get rid of the grass energy here. So I'm fine getting rid of the Bravery Charm. For just 2 more electric. Going Town Store. Grab myself another future booster. Or actually, I'm fine going Heavy Baton here. And for right now, passing. Because the goal is that we can let them put like Reshiram's down. We're just going to KO the Reshiram. If they bring something into the active we don't like, we're just going to Iron Bundle it out. There's boss's orders. Yeah, I guess maybe the play would have been to just keep Thorns in the active and just do nothing else. I mean, we can retreat it, and then we're just going to be back in the same position, though, so it's like not that big a deal. Yeah, they don't have much they can do. We get the Arven, that's actually really nice. So we can place this down. Go ahead and Arven. Nest Ball. Yeah, I'm actually gonna grab this and another Capsule. Techno Radar. Away the Capsule. I don't actually really need that. To grab Leaves. And Miraidon. I'll grab hands so that way I can do 2 onto this later. Bring this in. We swing for 160. And then I can just move the grass energy here for now. On the next turn, I will KO this. And I will either KO it with Iron Hands, or I will KO it with Thorns. Which will bring me to 3. Hands that, and then we go Iron Leaves for final. Tool Scrapper, good play. An annoying one, but a good one. Cool, we just get another one. Yeah, I'm fine placing this. We go boss's orders. Pull this up. Swing for 160. Electric Dragon Energy moved. We grab 2 prizes, which should bail us out. It kind of does. Not exactly, but we get a Prime Catcher play. So we're really looking for any of one energy. It's not really going to matter which one we get. The Unfair Stamp, minorly annoying, but again, not that big of a deal. Actually, that works out really well because we just want to be able to research here. We bring up to Zorora. This is going to be like kind of a tedious game because our hand wasn't great, but it's like just Iron Thorns bailing us out, which is another reason why this deck is like pretty good. You just have options for so many situations. We actually weren't going to be able to Night Stretcher regardless because of the Toad Scroll. I kind of forgot this thing was even here. Not that there was anything for us to even grab regardless, but until we deal with this, we're not going to be able to do that. Which is like fine. The Earthen Vessel for dark energies. A Reshiram. We get another grass energy. That's actually kind of nice. We can put this here. Go research. And then what we're going to be able to do is go for the Hyper Blower. Force them to give up something. Now, if we had another way to get one more crown out, then we would just like one-shot this, but we'd be at 180 if we use Nest Ball to get another one. So it just wouldn't be enough, and we don't have a way to get a new one. But in this case, like, we can go Hyper Blower, take the KO on whatever they bring in. So they either have to give up a Zorora, which they don't really want to do. They have to give up a Reshiram, which they don't really want to do. Or they'll give up the Toad Scroll, which is their, like, pretty much like their best play to make. So we can Nest Ball here. What we can do is grab one more Iron Crown. And then what we'll be able to do is swing for knockout here. We'll move the grass energy. Let's check. Yeah. We move the grass energy here. Take the KO on this. That opens up our Night Stretcher. And this one as well. So we can literally just re-grab our Iron Bundle if we have to. But let's say they go in and they make like Zoroark here, right? That's totally fine for us. Because if they go ahead and make Zoroark, then we can just Arven, grab ourselves our Iron Leaves, bring that in, move the energy off the Iron Hands, swing and take the KO. And then we'll just need one energy, and we'll be able to swing into this and KO it. Now they can knock out an Iron Crown here. That's also fine for us, because they take 2 prizes, but the outcome is pretty much still the same, because we're going to be able to Night Stretcher, just pick that back up anyway. So we'll bring the Thorns in. We get a Capsule. That's actually pretty good. So we'll Night Stretcher, pick this up. Go ahead and place that down. We can go Arven here for Techno Radar and a Heavy Baton. We go Techno Radar and get rid of the Miraidon. Use that to grab this and this, where we grab this, bring this into the active, and then we will move the 2 energy from that, and then we'll just throw 1 more grass onto it. We can even attach a Bravery Charm if we really wanted to. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but sure, why not? Just make it a little bit more bulky. We'll swing for the Prism Edge, take the knockout, grab ourselves 2 prizes, and then pretty much what will happen here is either A, they'll boss something and take a KO, and then we just bring Iron Leaves back in and KO whatever is there, or B, they'll KO our Iron Leaves here. Being able to have the Bravery Charm down is really nice because it does protect us from Ursaluna. So they'll take a KO here. If they, like I said, if they have boss, they can Ursaluna into something. It doesn't really matter. We're going to be able to pick this back up and KO pretty much whatever we want, since we have the copies of Crown, as well as the fact that we'll have access to Fez to help dig for even like a boss or something. And if they do find a way into like an Iron Leaves KO, then we just bring in Thorns and do the same thing. So we have plenty of options, and that's kind of the beauty of the deck. Obviously, we had a pretty bad opening hand, but thanks to Iron Thorns just being itself and just sitting in the active, we were able to play out of it, which is obviously pretty nice. We'll wait and see what they do here. Likely retreat into Ursaluna and swing. There's the counter catch. The question is, what do they feel comfortable swinging into? They want to go into the Iron Hands to deal with that, which is totally fine by me, because right now we're hitting for, let's see, 200, 210, 240 with our Iron Leaves EX. We could potentially, yeah, we have options to boss and Prime Catcher, so if we just get into an Arven, the game will be over. We're going to lead with the Iron Thorns just to shut off Ursaluna as well if it becomes relevant. Yep, because they're going to want to boss around the Iron Thorns. They swing with the Blood Moon. We bring Thorns in. Hey, there we go. So let's count our damage really quickly. On on the Iron Leaves, we're swinging for 180, 120, 140, 160, or sorry, 260, yeah. So we should be able to just retreat this out and swing for the 260. Yep, easy. So I mean, that was nice, but obviously we could have just fezzed for anything else. But obviously we'll take the top deck crown. We'll just be able to swing for 260 with the Iron Valiant, knock out the Ursaluna, and call that a kind of little bit awkward game 2. But obviously not too bad of a game 2. So we'll jump into game 3 in a second. I'll see you guys there. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 3. Our opponent's going to be going first. We open our Iron Thorns, which is never a bad open. We're going to get some mulligans here. We're up against Gardevoir, which is obviously pretty good for us. We'll be able to just drop Iono here, get ourselves a new hand, which is fine. We do have Team Rocket's Watchtower to bump an Artisan if they decide to place one. We can use Artisan to find ourselves a copy of Miraidon. We get Techno Radar, pretty good for us. We see a Nest Ball come out. Ralts. Energy. So pretty much what our play can be here is we'll go Techno Radar, get rid of the Watchtower, get ourselves Miraidon Crown, go Iron Bundle, swap these out with the hopes of getting into a future booster capsule off the Iono. Okay, there's a Clefairy. Get rid of that. Grab these. Slap that down. Then we go Iono. Okay, we get Prime Catcher, which is more or less the same thing. Problem is that we're only swinging for 60. I'm kind of okay. Being short 10 damage kind of sucks though. But I really want to get energy onto the Iron Hands. Or not the Iron Hands, the Iron Thorns here. Regardless, just so that way I can start to get this into the active and start attacking. But this was definitely not the most optimal Iono hand. Nest Ball for another Ralts. They research. Another research, 2 energies, and a Devo. Mew comes out. Not really that worried about Mew. This is where, though, like, if we can get a future booster capsule play, just retreat, bring in Thorns, attach an energy, and attack. That'd be pretty good for us. Especially if we can go, like, Pokemon Catcher, pull up the Monkey Dory, not need to use a supporter for turn, KO. Then that'd be pretty good. That would be optimal for sure. Seeing a Flutter Mane get discarded is a little risky, since that's going to be their out to the Iron Thorns if I get it into the active. We see Rare Candy. What was that? It was Rare Candy Ultra Ball. Or, sorry, Rare Candy, another Research, Artisan, and TM Evo. They get rid of the Artisan and Evo, so they have Research in hand. This is going to be Rare Candy Guardy, 2 cards in hand with 3 energy in play. You can move 30 damage. That's going to go on to the Iron Thorns. Psychic Embrace comes out. They do have one more energy they can move if they want to attack, but they're going to choose to retreat into the monkey, Psychic Embrace onto the monkey. This is still okay for me. We actually do get our future booster capsule. So we're going to be able to retreat. Bring this in. Turn off Guardy's ability. As well as attach here. Now, what we could do is put the damage onto Guardy, and I think that is going to be the play we make. And I think what we'll do... I really want to save the item slot for like a Bravery Charm. We'll go Psychic Energy here, since it's just the next like big attacker that we might be able to use. Right now we don't have many attacking options. But right now we're shutting off Psychic Embrace. And there's only 2 energy in discard, so they could retreat if they're able to move the Iron Thorns out of the active, but they won't be able to attack. That's what keeping the energy on the Monkey Dory was for. They Ultra Ball for potentially like a... Okay, so another monkey. I think they can't restart here, though. They do have research. We knew that from before. They can attempt to move 60 if they find... Okay, they do find the other dark energy. We'll see. I mean, the play could be that we just Pokemon Catcher knock out the Monkey Dory here. Because it's going to come in and Mind Bend us, and that's, like, annoying. But at the same time, I'm actually, like, not as worried about that. As much as I am, like, if I KO this, that gets rid of the damage these Monkey Dories can move. Because I can always, like, retreat this out or something. We get another Miraidon, so I'm going to go energy here. And just swing for KO. And we'll do an energy. I guess here. Doesn't really matter, honestly. A bunch of my energies are like kind of getting trapped here, and that's minorly annoying. The main play here is that we just want to get this Miraidon strong enough that we can, on the turn, like if we get into like an Ancient Booster Capsule, or even a like an Iron Hands or something like that, we can just start pinging with that instead. On a turn that we have to move the Iron Thorns out of the active. Iono comes in, that's fine with us. We didn't have anything we like desperately wanted anyway. We do get an Arven, that's actually really nice. Fez comes out. Fez cannot be used. Dark Energy. They only have 20 damage to move. So I think we just go Bravery Charm, Energy, see if we can get the attack off. This is a situation where if we had a better way to switch than just retreating, that would be definitely optimal, but unfortunately we don't. We're gonna go Techno Radar as well. Bravery Charm here. Techno Radar. Get rid of the Psychic Energy. Use that to find ourselves in a copy of Hands and Crown. Go Hands, Energy, Swing, hope for heads here, which we do get. Take out the Monkey Dory, move 1 Electric Energy to the Iron Hands. Grab ourselves a prize, and now we really just look for energy, which we get an Arven off the prizes, which is very good for us. And we have the Crown in hand, so as long as we get an energy, we can place Crown down and actually end up KOing the Mew here. And this is just like why Iron Thorns is so good. Technically, we can break the confusion here as well by going like Iron Valiant and then just retreating that out. Which is also pretty good for us. The problem is that we need an energy in order to attack anyway. So we can't really do that on this turn as much as we'd like to. Though I guess it's fine grabbing this and grabbing like this. Doing that play. Oh. That's funny, my mouse like just died. I was wondering why I couldn't do anything. My wireless mouse just died. Well. Alright, we're back. That was kind of funny. So pretty much what the play will be here is that... Oh, we do have an energy. I didn't see it in hand. My fault. So we can bring this in. Move a grass energy here. I guess we could also move this psychic energy. I don't think it really matters. I just like don't need it on this. We retreat, get rid of the psychic energy, bring this back in, attach the electric energy, Volt Cyclone. Oh, actually we shouldn't have attacked there. Actually it doesn't matter. Because they'll be able to move 60 damage with the Monkey Dories now, but it doesn't really matter that much. Bravery Charm comes out. Honestly, if they take a KO there, that's pretty good. Because I just need 1 energy. And like, if I get into pretty much anything else, I'll get it. We find a counter catch, not exactly what we're looking for. Leave 100 damage to move around, but it's not as relevant. Yeah, we just pass here. It was It wasn't a terrible play. What we had to do... Okay, Ionoing us is actually not bad because our hand's really bad. This is fine. Because if I can get an energy and just boss this monkey up, it's going to be so good for me. And there's... Yeah, I was going to say, they definitely don't have more than 4 dark energy. So they'll move 60 damage here. The goal here is just to be able to knock this out. So if we can just Pokégear into like a research. Or if we top deck an energy and Pokégear a boss, we KO the Mew. And then we're in a really good spot. Because when we go down to 1 prize, they retreat into Monkey. Also fine, but... Alright, we Pokégear, we find Iono. I think we just take boss and wait on an energy. Is probably fine for us. Yeah, we wait on energy because then we just KO. Arven comes out. There's nothing that will really do. Because the other thing here as well is that we don't even need to attack anymore. We can literally just wait for them to deck out because they only have 40 damage to be able to move. And then you can move the 40 damage onto our Iron Thorns, but then we'll still live. And all their energy is in the discard pile. So, like, we live on 10. We just pass our turn. Because they're out of energy and out of cards, so if we see them go Super Rod... Like, we just wait on an energy to sit on. We can just go, like, boss's orders and pull up the Fezandipiti again as well. Just to, like, be annoying. But yeah, they're going to have to concede. It's just Iron Thorns is kind of too broken. Because it just shuts Guardy off. And, like, we made a lot of misplays in that game. Like, a lot of them. But it doesn't even matter because Iron Thorns is so strong in that matchup. And then one of the biggest mistakes is that they, like, threw away Flutter Mane early. Which you can't really do. Like, you need to have that in the active spot. But yeah, that's going to be it for the games in this video. I will see you guys in the breakdown in a second. Peace. So when looking at Future Box, I think this deck is a ton of fun and it's just really enjoyable. I love box decks and being able to just like play around weakness and just like use a bunch of different random cards for like random situations. And so this deck is a ton of fun and I really recommend it. It's in a pretty decent spot right now. Obviously not the greatest, but in a pretty good spot. Weird meta counter decks like this get better when the meta is more niche. And right now the meta is kind of wide, so it's a little bit hard to hit everything as effectively as you want, but it still does hit most things pretty well. Going into the power, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 because if you're not hitting for weakness, you're not really doing much damage with this deck. And then because of that, like, you do need the Iron Crowns to kind of bump you up. And so it's really hard to take like big HP knockouts on things that you're not hitting for weakness. For the consistency, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 as well. This deck, I feel like, is more consistent than it is, but the problem is, like, you do play a lot of, like, kind of random extra cards, and so, like, if you're not getting into your Miraidon turn 1, or, like, if your opponent makes you go first, this deck kind of really suffers in a Joltik Box style way. So that's why I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 in terms of consistency. In terms of matchups, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. This is where this deck really excels. You kind of have a card or 2 cards or whatever for almost anything. And so this is a type of situation where, like, you may want to add 1 more Iron Thorns to help with the Guardy, but even on 1, it works really, really well. It's just a super solid card. And overall, your matchups are really good across the board just because of the random different pieces you can have. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to let me know what cards and decks you're most excited for with Mega Evolutions. as well as be on the lookout for the pit recap video sometime later this week. But yeah, that's just about it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.